Have you ever wondered why the quietest man in the room can control the loudest without saying a word? Why the one who smiles and listens can have more power than the one who shouts orders? It's because true dominance is rarely declared, it is recognized. They will fear you if you understand this. That fear does not come from noise, but from the unsettling realization that they cannot predict you, cannot manipulate you, cannot own you. The first psychological truth you must master is that your silence is a weapon sharper than any blade. When you stop reacting, you become unreadable. They will demand your explanation, your apology, your justification, but you give them nothing. In that void, they see themselves. Silence forces them to confront their own motives, their own fears. The world is built on reaction. Markets react, crowds react, the weak react, but you will not. Your refusal to react makes you ungovernable, and there is nothing more terrifying than someone who cannot be controlled. Consider the second truth. Predictability is vulnerability. As long as you are predictable, you are exploitable. They study your patterns. They know what pleases you, what offends you, what makes you desperate for approval. They know which words to say to win you over, which accusations will make you explain yourself, which silences will make you fill them with your confessions. But when you become a mystery, when your words are rare, when your expressions are disciplined, they lose their hold. You move like smoke. They cannot grab you, cannot corner you, cannot define you. The predictable man is a puppet with strings everyone can see. The unpredictable man is an enigma that everyone fears offending because they don't know what he might do. Machiavelli understood this well. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both, but it is fatal to be dismissed. And predictability is the death of respect. Now the third truth. People crave certainty, and they will project their fears onto you in its absence. When you offer no immediate reaction, no easy explanation, you become a mirror that reflects their anxieties. They will accuse you of arrogance, of cruelty, of being untrustworthy, not because you are these things, but because your calm threatens their illusion of control. This projection is power. It means you are shaping their emotional landscape without touching them. The wise understand this and use it. When you remain centered while others lose their composure, you reveal who is truly in command. They will call you manipulative. They will say you are playing games. But remember, power is not given, it is taken. And most people will surrender it gladly to anyone who seems to understand them better than they understand themselves. Your role is not to comfort them, it is to make them respect you enough to never underestimate you again. You must ask yourself, why do you speak so quickly? Why do you rush to justify, to apologize, to explain? Because you fear being misunderstood. Let them misunderstand you. There is strength in opacity. The man who reveals everything becomes small in the eyes of others. They see his weaknesses, his insecurities, his hunger for approval. He becomes manageable. But the man who keeps his intentions hidden, who controls his tongue, who reveals nothing he does not choose to reveal, that man is dangerous. He forces others to fill the silence with their own assumptions, their own fears, and in that silence he becomes larger than life. Remember this, the less you reveal, the more they imagine, and imagination is always more powerful than truth. Look at history. The great leaders, the feared generals, the respected thinkers, they spoke carefully or they refused to speak at all. Their silence was not emptiness, it was strategy. When they did speak, every word mattered, every sentence carried weight. That is the essence of power, to ensure that your words are rare enough to be valued. Don't waste them trying to be liked. Don't waste them explaining yourself to people who will never truly understand you. Every time you rush to speak, you give away your advantage. Every time you react immediately, you give them your playbook. Slow down, observe, listen not just to their words, but to their silences, their discomfort, their tells. Learn them better than they know themselves, and give them only what you choose. And when they demand you speak, pause. Let the weight of the silence press on them. Let them feel their own fear, their own uncertainty. Most people cannot bear that silence. They will rush to fill it. They will confess more than they intend. They will show you their cards while you show nothing. That is how you dominate a negotiation, a confrontation, a relationship. By refusing to play the game on their terms, by making your calm unshakable, your energy guarded. Machiavelli did not teach kindness for its own sake. He taught the art of survival in a world ruled by ambition and fear. And there is no greater threat to those who would control you than your refusal to be controlled. So begin now. Cultivate the discipline of silence. Cut the need to justify. Erase the habit of predictable responses. Become aware of your triggers and sever their hold over you. When you want to lash out, withdraw. When you want to explain, pause. When you want to defend, observe instead. This is not cowardice. This is strategy. This is the art of making others feel your absence more than your presence. And once they know you cannot be manipulated, you will find that respect follows you like a shadow. They will not love you in the way you once thought you wanted. They will fear disappointing you, fear losing your attention, fear being excluded from your world. And that, my friend, is a far more reliable currency of power. Because in the end, this is the first lesson they don't want you to learn. Silence is control. The second, unpredictability is security. And the third, projection is power. Learn these three, and you will no longer live at the mercy of other people's expectations. You will not beg for their approval. You will not chase their affection. You will sit in your own strength and watch as the world adjusts itself around you. They will call you cruel, distant, even heartless, but they will know better than to cross you. And if you want to be anything in this world other than someone else's puppet, you will learn to make your silence louder than your screams. You think you know yourself because you can describe your preferences, your dreams, your fears. But let me ask you this. Do you know what triggers you? Do you know why certain words pierce your calm and make you lash out? Why certain silences make you fill them with desperate explanations? The fourth psychological truth is that whoever controls your emotions controls you. The manipulator doesn't need to tie you down. They only need to know which words will ignite your rage, your guilt, your need for validation. Understand this. Your emotions are levers, and the world is full of people ready to pull them. The only way to free yourself is to become the master of your own emotional landscape. When you no longer react automatically, you stop being predictable. And when you are no longer predictable, you become unmanageable. But mastering your emotions is not about becoming cold, indifferent, or dead inside. No, this is the fifth truth you must learn. True power lies in selective vulnerability. Show them only what you choose. Reveal your anger only when it serves you. Offer your empathy only when it is earned. Do not mistake raw openness for authenticity. The world will punish you for unguarded honesty. It will weaponize your confessions, twist your admissions, replay your weaknesses at the worst possible moments. The wise man understands that not everyone deserves access to his soul. He learns to compartmentalize, to share strategically, to reveal his wounds only to those who have proven they will not press their fingers into them. Selective vulnerability is not dishonesty, it is survival. It is the art of choosing who is worthy of your truth. And now for the sixth truth, perhaps the most uncomfortable of all. Guilt is the leash they use to lead you. Think about how often you act from guilt. You say yes because you feel guilty saying no. You apologize when you did nothing wrong. You over-explain so they won't misunderstand. You sacrifice your own needs because you fear being labeled selfish. But understand this, guilt is a social mechanism designed to make you compliant. It has its uses, but in excess it becomes the prison you build around yourself with your own hands. The manipulator knows this. They don't have to threaten you. They only have to sigh, to look disappointed, to suggest that you're not living up to the role they've assigned you, and you will rush to fulfill it, to silence the guilt gnawing at your insides. If you want to be free, you must learn to sit with that guilt without yielding to it. You must learn to let others be disappointed without rushing to fix it. Imagine how your world would change if you mastered these three truths. If you controlled your reactions so completely that no one could provoke you into revealing your plans, your fears, your weaknesses. If you chose your moments of vulnerability so carefully that no one could use them against you. If you refused to be manipulated by guilt, holding your boundaries even when their disappointment roared in your ears, what would you become? Dangerous, unpredictable, respected, because most people are ruled by their emotions without ever realizing it. They are open books written in a language anyone can read. But you will become a cipher, and the less they can read you, the more they will fear what you might be capable of. You see, they will call you cold. They will say you've changed. They will tell you that you've lost your heart. But what you have lost is your leash. The leash they pulled every time they needed you to serve them. The leash that made you apologize for your boundaries. The leash that made you explain your choices like a child asking permission. When you cut that leash, they will be furious. They will test you, provoke you, try to guilt you back into submission, and that is the moment you must hold your ground. Because if you yield even once, they will know the leash still works. But if you hold, if you sit in your silence while their accusations bounce off you, they will learn that you are no longer theirs to manage. And what happens then? Respect. Maybe not love, maybe not approval, but respect. They will know you cannot be controlled with emotion, with guilt, with predictable vulnerability. They will think twice before trying to manipulate you. And even those who hate you will speak carefully in your presence. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. It is the refusal to be anyone's puppet. It is the demand that relationships be built on mutual respect, not on hidden transactions of emotional blackmail. Because in the end, the man who cannot say no is not kind, he is exploited. The man who cannot stay silent is not honest, he is defenseless. The man who cannot endure guilt is not moral, he is obedient. And there is no virtue in obedience to the undeserving. So remember these truths. Whoever controls your emotions controls you. Selective vulnerability is your shield. Guilt is the leash they will use to lead you. Learn to cut that leash. Learn to guard your emotions. Learn to choose who is worthy of your truth. And you will stop being the predictable, pliable, endlessly available version of yourself they thought they owned. You will become something else entirely. Something they cannot understand, cannot predict, cannot control. And that is when they will begin to respect you. Because power, real power, begins the moment you stop giving yourself away. Do you know why some people always seem to get what they want without ever asking directly? Why their needs are met before they even voice them? It's because they have mastered the seventh psychological truth. People obey what they do not want to confront. They avoid conflict. They avoid discomfort. They avoid the tension of saying no. And so they say yes. Understand this deeply. The human mind craves ease. The manipulator creates an atmosphere where refusal feels harder than compliance. They will never demand outright. They will imply. They will suggest. They will make you feel that denying them would be rude, cruel, heartless. And you, wanting to avoid that discomfort, will give in. This is not your kindness at work. It is your aversion to conflict. If you wish to be free, you must learn to sit in that discomfort, to let your no hang in the air without softening it, to let others feel their disappointment without rushing to relieve it. The eighth truth is that weakness is advertised in apologies that were never asked for. Watch how people preemptively apologize for existing, for taking up space, for asserting even the mildest boundary. I'm sorry, but I can't today. I'm sorry, but I don't agree. Apologies that undermine the very boundary they are trying to establish. The manipulator senses this instantly. They know you are primed to fold. They know you feel guilty even before you've denied them anything. And so they push, they press, they escalate. Because your apology has told them everything they need to know about you, that you don't believe you have the right to say no. Understand this. Apology is a tool for repair, not permission. Do not wield it like a white flag before the battle has even begun. Reserve it for your mistakes, not for your boundaries. Let your no be clean. Let it be unadorned. Let it be final. And the ninth truth is the most insidious of all. They will praise you to own you. Flattery is the leash they disguise as affection. Watch how they compliment your generosity, your loyalty, your patience. Not because they admire it, but because they want you to keep providing it. The manipulator's praise is not about you, it's about them. It's the currency they pay you to secure your continued service. And most people are so starved for validation that they will sell their freedom for it. They will double their efforts to be seen as good, kind, helpful. They will work themselves to exhaustion for the approval of someone who has no intention of reciprocating their effort. Recognize this trap. Let praise pass through you like wind through an open door. Thank them if you must, but do not let it define you. Do not let it steer you. Accept it without dependency, because the moment you need it, you are theirs. You see, most people don't want to admit these truths. They want to believe that the world is fair, that kindness is always rewarded, that flattery is sincere. But the man who wants power, who wants freedom, who wants respect, cannot afford such illusions. He must see things as they are, not as he wishes them to be. And what you will see, if you dare to look clearly, is that the world is full of people who will use your fear of conflict, your reflexive apologies, your hunger for praise, to make you serve them. They won't thank you for it. They won't even notice your sacrifice. They will take it as their due. And when you are exhausted and empty, they will call you selfish for asking anything in return. This is why you must become something different. You must become the man who can sit in someone else's discomfort without flinching, who can say no without apology, who can hear praise without needing it. Because when you no longer fear conflict, they will tread carefully around you. When you no longer apologize for your needs, they will learn to respect them. When you no longer melt under praise, they will realize they cannot buy you so cheaply. You will stop being the predictable, obliging tool they have always used. You will become something unsettling, something they cannot manage. And that is the beginning of power. But do not be fooled. This transformation will not make you popular. It will not make you loved in the way you are used to. It will make you respected. It will make you valued. And even those who resent you will do so with caution, because you will have taught them something most people never learn, that you are not for sale, that your emotions are not levers they can pull, that your kindness is a gift, not a debt, and they will hate you for it, even as they admire you. They will call you difficult, unyielding, even cruel. Let them. The world does not need more agreeable men. It needs men who cannot be bent by guilt or praise or the promise of affection. So listen carefully. People obey what they don't want to confront. Weakness is advertised in unnecessary apologies. Flattery is the leash they use to keep you close. Learn to hold your ground in conflict. Learn to stop apologizing for your existence. Learn to see praise as currency, not truth. And when you do, you will become unrecognizable to those who thought they owned you. They will see you and feel something primal in their gut, a discomfort, a hesitation, a respect they cannot explain. Because they will know, even if they never say it, that you are not like the others. You cannot be led, you cannot be owned, and that is when they will begin to fear you. They will never tell you this openly, but they depend on your ignorance. This is the 10th psychological truth. Those who want to control you need you to be unaware of your own value. They will not come out and say you are powerful, because the moment you realize it, you will stop serving them. Instead, they will downplay your contributions. They will tell you you're overreacting, too sensitive, too much. They will belittle your boundaries, scoff at your ambitions, question your decisions. Not because these things are wrong, but because they threaten the dynamic that keeps them comfortable and you compliant. Understand this well. It is in their best interest to keep you small. Because a man who knows his worth cannot be cheaply bought. A man who understands his value is a man who is dangerous to those who thrive on exploitation. The 11th truth is equally uncomfortable. They will punish you for changing. Watch how quickly the smiles fade when you stop playing the role they wrote for you. When you begin to say no, when you stop apologizing, when you refuse to be predictable, they will accuse you of being selfish, cold, arrogant. They will say you've changed as if change were a crime. And it is, to them, because your growth exposes their stagnation. Your boundaries reveal their entitlement. Your silence unmasks their dependence on your reaction. They are not angry because you hurt them. They are angry because you stopped enabling them. And in their world, that is unforgivable. This is the tax you pay for evolution, losing the approval of those who only valued you when you were easy to manage. Then there is the 12th truth, the one that reveals the entire game. They want you dependent. They will never say it, but they want you to need them more than they need you. They want you worried about their opinion, desperate for their validation, hungry for their praise. They want you bound to them by your own insecurity, because dependency is control. If you need them, you will tolerate more, you will explain more, you will give more than you want to give. This is the quiet contract they hope you will never read. The fine print says, as long as you need me, I own you. And most people sign it willingly, with smiles on their faces and apologies on their tongues. But you must learn to read every contract life offers you. You must see the chains disguised as gifts, and you must have the courage to walk away from any deal that costs you your freedom. Think for a moment about your own life. How many relationships, jobs, friendships have you stayed in too long because you feared losing approval? How many times have you swallowed your truth because you feared their anger? How often have you prioritized being liked over being free? These are not small betrayals. They are daily surrenders of your sovereignty, and you must see them for what they are, evidence of how well the game works, because they don't have to chain you physically. They just have to convince you that you can't survive without them. They have to make you believe that your value depends on their acceptance. Once you see this clearly, you will feel a rage rising in you. Let it. It is the first sign of life, after too long spent sleepwalking through the role they assigned you. But do not waste that anger in reaction. This is the path of the predictable man, the easy-to-manage man. Instead, use it as fuel to build discipline. Discipline over your words, over your emotions, over your choices. Because they are waiting for you to overreact. They are hoping you will break your silence with pleading or rage. They want you to collapse, to beg, to prove them right when they call you unstable or difficult. Don't give them that satisfaction. Your silence will say more than any argument. Your calm will be your rebuke. Your refusal to participate in their performance will force them to confront the emptiness of their own behavior. This is not passive aggression. It is strategic sovereignty. It is the art of stepping back so they see themselves clearly for the first time. Understand that this will not make you beloved. It will make you respected, feared, even hated. But you do not need their love. You need your freedom. Because the man who lives for approval lives on his knees, and no amount of praise is worth that posture. The man who refuses dependency, who is content to walk alone if he must, who knows his own worth so thoroughly that no insult can diminish it and no flattery can inflate it, that man cannot be controlled. He cannot be manipulated. He is the one they warn others about in hushed tones, because he is dangerous to the comfortable order they have built. He is the exception to their rules. He is the reminder that submission is a choice and freedom is always possible, but only for those willing to pay its price. So learn these truths. They need your ignorance to exploit you. They will punish you for changing because it forces them to confront themselves. They will cultivate your dependence because it is the leash they hold. Break that leash. Embrace the punishment of their disapproval as proof you are becoming free. Let their discomfort confirm your evolution, and never again allow yourself to be defined by their acceptance. You were not born to be managed. You were not born to be anyone's emotional servant. You were born to rule yourself, and when you do, they will either rise to meet you at your level or fall away from your life. Either outcome is victory. Have you ever noticed how the world trains you to keep giving even when you're empty? This is the 13th psychological truth. The system thrives on your exhaustion. It rewards the agreeable, the accommodating, the ever-available. It labels sacrifice as virtue while quietly consuming you until there's nothing left. And when you're drained, depleted, too tired to fight back, that's when you're most useful to them. They will praise your work ethic while they watch you burn out. They will celebrate your loyalty while they never reciprocate it. They will admire your selflessness so long as it serves them. Because an exhausted man is a compliant man. He has no energy to resist, to question, to rebel. So they will keep you busy, keep you worried, keep you indebted. And you will think you are being responsible, noble, even necessary. But in truth, you are just being consumed. The 14th truth is no less brutal. They weaponize your empathy. The very thing that makes you human becomes the chain they use to bind you. They will tell you their problems, paint themselves as victims, appeal to your compassion. Not because they seek healing, but because they seek control. They know you cannot watch someone suffer without wanting to help. They know you will sacrifice your peace to save them from their chaos. And so they create crises, real or imagined, to ensure your attention stays on them. The manipulator doesn't need to be strong. They only need to make you feel responsible for their weakness. And the more you give, the more they demand. They will call you heartless if you pull away. They will accuse you of betrayal if you set a boundary. Because they know your empathy is a currency you keep spending even when the account is empty. And they intend to collect every last coin. Now the 15th truth. Scarcity creates value, and abundance destroys it. This is a law not just of markets but of human psychology. The more available you are, the less they value you. The more you give without asking, the more they expect. The easier you are to access, the less they bother to respect you. This is not cruelty, it is human nature. We cherish what is rare, we respect what is protected, we desire what we cannot so easily possess. So when you are always there, always responding, always listening, always agreeing, you teach them to take you for granted. You teach them that your time, your energy, your presence cost nothing, and so they treat it like it's worthless. If you want to be respected, you must first become scarce. You must show them that access to you is not a right but a privilege, one that can be lost. Consider for a moment how many times you have been exhausted but agreed anyway. How many times you have listened when you wanted silence. How many times you have given more than you had to people who did not appreciate it. You told yourself you were being good, kind, generous. But what you were really doing was teaching them that your boundaries were negotiable, that your needs were unimportant, that your energy was infinite. And they learned those lessons well. They will never tell you to rest. They will never tell you to take care of yourself, because they need you tired. They need you available. They need you desperate for their approval. And the only person who can break that cycle is you. But breaking it will not be easy. The first time you say no will feel like cruelty. The first time you ignore the crisis that isn't yours to solve, you will feel cold. The first time you choose rest over responsibility, you will feel guilt clawing at you. They will notice too. They will call you selfish. They will question your loyalty. They will test your resolve, because you are not just changing your behavior, you are challenging the entire dynamic they depend on. You are teaching them that you will no longer be their emotional sponge, their crisis manager, their endless source of validation, and they will resist. They will punish you with anger, with silence, with rejection, but endure it, because it is proof that your strategy is working. You must become comfortable with being called selfish. You must accept being misunderstood. You must learn to be silent in the face of their accusations. Because the moment you start defending your boundaries, you risk negotiating them away. Let them think what they will. Let them say what they want. Your job is not to manage their perception. Your job is to manage your energy, your time, your life. You will find that the ones who truly value you will adjust. They will learn to respect your no. They will learn to appreciate your yes. And the ones who refuse, let them go. Their anger is the price you pay for your freedom. So remember these truths. They will keep you exhausted to keep you compliant. They will weaponize your empathy to keep you giving. And they will devalue you if you make yourself too available. Withdraw your energy from those who waste it. Guard your empathy like the treasure it is, and make your presence a privilege, not a commodity. Because when you do, you will transform from the predictable, endlessly giving caretaker they take for granted into the sovereign force they cannot ignore. You will not be loved by everyone, but you will be respected by the ones who matter, and that is the currency of true power. They will never admit it, but they fear those who can walk away. This is the 16th psychological truth. Your willingness to leave is your greatest leverage. Most people stay where they are unwanted, undervalued, disrespected, because they cannot bear the thought of being alone. They trade their dignity for company, their freedom for security, their self-respect for acceptance. And those who know this about them exploit it mercilessly. They know you won't leave, so they don't change. They know you'll keep forgiving, so they keep offending. But the man who can walk away, the man who has trained himself to need no one more than he needs his own peace, that man is dangerous. He cannot be threatened, cannot be guilted, cannot be bribed with hollow apologies. He is free because he refuses to be captive to anyone's approval. The 17th truth cuts even deeper. They will try to make you believe that your boundaries are punishments. They will twist your no into an act of cruelty. They will paint your distance as abandonment. They will accuse you of being heartless, cold, ungrateful. Why? Because they need you to feel guilty for protecting yourself. They need you to see your own self-preservation as an act of violence. That is how they keep you compliant. If you dare to withdraw, to refuse, to disengage, they will escalate their tactics. Emotional outbursts, accusations, silent treatments. They will throw every tool they have at you to pull you back into the role you've decided to outgrow. This is the cost of setting boundaries, being misunderstood, being disliked, being villainized. But you must be willing to pay it, because the alternative is to keep betraying yourself for people who only love you when you're easy to use. Then comes the 18th truth, the one most never learn. Your absence is often more powerful than your presence. Most people think power is in what they say, what they do, how loudly they can assert themselves. But true power is often in what you withhold, when you refuse to explain yourself, when you deny them the reaction they're trying to provoke, when you walk away instead of fighting for their understanding, when you let silence do the talking. Your absence forces them to confront the space you once filled. It forces them to see the value they ignored. It creates a vacuum only your return can fill. But this is not about playing games. It is about reclaiming your dignity. It is about refusing to perform for people who never truly listened. About choosing peace over proving yourself. Presence can be powerful, but absence is unforgettable. Consider this. The man who cannot leave is a slave to those who know he won't. The man who apologizes for his own boundaries is granting permission for their violation. The man who is always there becomes furniture in someone else's life, useful but unnoticed. But the man who knows when to leave, who does not justify his no, who can vanish without explanation, that man commands respect, even in his absence. They will talk about him when he's gone. They will wonder what he's thinking. They will realize too late the value of what they took for granted. And some will hate him for it, not because he harmed them, but because he forced them to see themselves clearly. But make no mistake, this path is not easy. It is not comfortable. It requires you to be willing to endure loneliness, to face the silence without rushing to fill it, to let go of needing to be liked, understood, forgiven. It requires you to prioritize your own peace over their comfort. It demands that you stop rescuing people from the consequences of treating you poorly. This is the price of freedom, and most are unwilling to pay it. They choose to stay, to explain, to beg, to perform, to keep the peace at the cost of their own soul. But you are here because something in you knows there must be another way, that there is power in walking alone if it means you get to keep your self-respect. So let them misunderstand you. Let them call you cold. Let them tell their stories about how you changed, because you did change. You stopped being willing to sacrifice yourself on the altar of their comfort. You stopped offering explanations to people who never listened. You stopped trying to be loved by those who only valued you for your utility. And in that transformation, you became something rare, something unsettling, something they cannot own. You became free. And freedom, true freedom, will always frighten those who benefit from your captivity. Remember this final lesson. They will fear you if you can leave. They will hate you if you can say no without apology. They will respect you if you can stay silent in the face of provocation. And they will never forget you if you can disappear without looking back. Because in a world addicted to validation, desperate for approval, terrified of solitude, the man who can walk away is not just respected, he is revered. He is the standard they measure themselves against, the legend they whisper about, the warning they give to others. Be that man, be the one they cannot manipulate, be the one they cannot forget. And don't forget, keep watching the next video. It's more important than you realize. See you there.